Hello, this is TGC Requiem. I'm back with another deck tech. This is for Death Shadow Jund, primarily talking about the card Death's Shadow in the name. Death Shadow is just easier to say than Death's Shadow Jund. So, with the banning of Gitaxian Probe, there was a lot of assumption that obviously decks Infect and Death Shadow aggro, or Death Shadow Zoo, we're going to take a little bit of a hit and get significantly weaker, and there was a lot of concern that Death Shadow aggro was going to die out completely. I had played a lot of Death Shadow aggro over the last few months when I haven't been recording videos, basically preparing for SCG Columbus, and I was really digging the deck, though it started to feel a little targeted towards the end of my testing. I didn't end up playing it in the open. I ended up playing Jund instead. But I felt that the Gitaxian Probe ban was going to kill the deck. The deck was really reliant on it for a number of reasons. The deck needed to do a lot of damage to itself very fast. It was all in on the combo of Temur Battle Rage plus Become Immense, and basically it really needed the card filtering, the ability to cast a card that lost 2 life, similar to Street Wraith, without having to spend mana. And so the loss of it really made me think that that version of Death Shadow was going to die. And it has. I mean, really, so far, we have not seen any builds similar to that succeed. But Death Shadow, in general, has actually started to almost thrive in a new way, in a better way. It's just kind of like evolved from being an aggro deck to being a mid-range deck that kind of plays similar to Jund, while kind of biasing towards Death's Shadow tendencies, which were typically, to do a little more damage to yourself, get your life total a little low pretty quick. And so basically the deck has just been putting up results. The list I'm actually showing you here today is a list that I took from GHash77 off MTG Goldfish. I've played a lot of Jund, and again I played some Death Shadow, and so I really wanted to take the list for a spin. And this is that list. Basically, the concept of this list, as I said, is to play a little bit more of a Jund game. There is a lot of hand disruption with Inquisition of Kozilek and Thoughtseize. We're favoring Thoughtseize because of the 2 damage that it does to yourself, and the fact that it can target any card, but mostly the 2 damage. But we also have Collective Brutality, which is 3 more pieces of hand disruption, so 10. And technically, Kolaghan's Command can make your opponent discard a card, though they have the choice. And Collective Brutality obviously can only get instants and sorceries. Inquisition can only get cards with a CMC of 3 or less. The other thing this deck does is, and I apologize, we didn't even talk about Liliana, and Liliana of the Veil also discards. So again, kind of junding your opponent by stripping their hand very fast, and then you're kind of running a really light threat suite with just the 4 Death Shadow and the Tarmogoyf. Death Shadow's big thing is he's a 13/13, but he gets -X where X is your life total. So until your life total is 12 or less, he just would immediately die if you cast him. Tarmogoyf, the other threat, obviously, whose power and toughness is equal to the number of types of cards in the graveyard, pairs really well here because we're still using Mishra's Bauble. Artifact is not all that common of a card type to see, so it makes Goyfs even bigger than most of the Goyfs that you normally see in a deck like Jund. Abzan usually runs a couple baubles just to try and pump it occasionally as well. But also Tarfire, which is a tribal instant. Tribal is actually a type, and that also makes your Tarmogoyfs a little bit bigger. This is why we're running Tarfire over Lightning Bolt, because we are again trying to get our Tarmogoyfs a little bit bigger. again, just really the 8 creatures. You are running 4 Street Wraiths, and you do technically have the mana to, the ability to hard cast them. However, their primary use is to cycle for life. So you pay 2 life, draw a card, helps get you to the missing piece, if you will. But we run 4 Traverse the Ulvenwald, and since we are running, I think it's 7 card types with land, artifact, sorcery, creature, instant, planeswalker. I thought there was 7, maybe it's just 6. We don't have enchantment. Oh, and tribal. Sorry, I'm in tribal. So we have 7 types in the ability to really get them into the graveyard super fast, which allows us to use Traverse the Ulvenwald's Delirium feature, which is basically if there are 4 more card types in your graveyard, you can search your library for a creature or a land. And so this allows you to go get your Death Shadow or a Tarmogoyf as you need them. 1 Abrupt Decay, the Miser's Decay, and 3 Kolaghan's Command give you the ability to interact with some of the permanents that might present a problem, such as Ensnaring Bridge. Kolaghan's Command, Tarfire offer a little bit of reach. Temur Battle Rage gives you the ability to do the old double strike trample thing like the old Death Shadows deck did. But again, as you can see, we're only running 2 here and no Become Immense, which is significantly different than the old version, as the point of the deck isn't so much to combo out as it is to kind of play a slightly more mid-range game and then just hit your opponent hard with some threats. But you also do have the threat of potentially, swinging in with a Tarmogoyf that's a 7/8, which could double strike and trample for up to 14 damage. And again, Death Shadow can get as big as like a 12/12 before you die, but as big as a 12/12 before. When you Temur Battle Rage it. So again, just a little bit different style of a deck. Pretty cool though, and again, it's been performing really well. Out of the side, again, aggro decks such as Burn, for example, a bit difficult. You want to kind of balance your life total. You have to be a little less aggressive, with your Thought Seizes and your fetches, and so. Fatal Push, giving you some cards to interact with early creatures, Anger of the Gods as well for those aggro decks, just kind of ways to slow those decks down. Bitter Blossom, just another different, hard to fight card type, so not a lot of cards like a Grixis deck, for example, is going to really struggle against Bitter Blossom. Again, slowly brings your life total down, while also giving you threats in the air. And Bitter Blossom, I think it's like 6 turns, and maybe it's the 7th turn. If none of your tokens got killed, you'd be swinging for lethal if you just swing with Bitter Blossom alone. So again, it's just a different type of threat, gives you a different angle to approach some of those control type matchups who may struggle with handling an enchantment. Liliana, the Last Hope, gives you also some more game against aggro decks and again against control or mid-range battles. The ability to return a key threat like a Death Shadow to your hand, but also, the threat of going ultimate with Liliana. You have Fulminator Mage and Surgical Extraction to help fight against the big land decks like Tron and Valakut, the ramp ones. And so, you hope to use Fulminator Mage to blow up a key land and Surgical Extract to steal it. Surgical Extraction also fantastic with the hand disruption in this deck. So, Inquisition, Thoughtseize, Collective Brutality, we said, 10 hand disruption spells, plus 2 Liliana and Kolaghan's Command. And again, pairing that with Surgical Extraction can really help against a lot of combo decks. Scavenging Ooze, anytime you need to gain a little extra life or fight somebody's graveyard. So this is Death Shadow Jund. I have only played a couple matches with it so far. I am going to go ahead and jump into a friendly league with it, though. Basically, one of the guys who watched one of my earlier videos requested I play this because he probably heard me mention in the video how I have it. I just haven't had a chance to play it yet. He asked me to do a couple of videos, and so I am honoring that request by playing that here, so I hope you guys enjoy it.